Hi, I'm Sylvia Mayer. Thank you for clicking on Mayer on Mediation and Arbitration. Today, I want to talk about anchor or anchoring bias and how it impacts mediation and negotiation. To illustrate, I'm going to draw an example from Robert Cialdini's Persuasion. This is a book that I definitely recommend you read. By human nature, if you give special attention to one factor, then in our brains, that becomes a cause or causal. He dubs this what is focal is presumed causal. And in the book, he explores several studies in different contexts that show the influence of what is focal. I'm going to focus on one example. In 1982, there was an issue with someone tampering with Tylenol capsules. Someone went and got a bunch of Tylenol, injected the capsules with cyanide, repackaged them, and put them on the shelves to be sold in stores. People bought them, people died, and it got a tremendous amount of publicity. Ultimately, Tylenol recalled over 31 million capsules, and they released lot numbers of the bottles that included potentially tampered with capsules. When they started releasing the lot numbers, they originally released 2 numbers. Those 2 numbers got the most publicity. Now, what does this have to do with anchoring bias? I'll tell you. Immediately after those 2 lot numbers got so much publicity, lottery ticket purchases using those lot numbers skyrocketed. It was so extreme that in 3 states, they actually had to stop selling lottery tickets with those particular numbers. It sounds totally irrational, but here's why it happened. Because of the publicity around these numbers, they had become a focal point. Because they had become a focal point, they had become causal, meaning that people felt subconsciously, not consciously, but subconsciously, that they could cause events to occur, like winning the lottery. But they were wrong. Neither of those numbers proved to be winning numbers. So, how does this relate to mediation and negotiation? It plays out as anchoring bias, when a party fixates on one piece of information to the exclusion of all others. It could be a dollar amount, a statement made, an event, an act, an omission, just about anything. But when it happens, whatever it is, it clouds our judgment so that we cannot process additional information or conflicting information. I see it in mediations all the time. One party is fixated on something, and they simply cannot move past that. I had a mediation recently where one of the parties was totally fixated, and all they could focus on was one piece of information that was totally not relevant to the issue that we were mediating. But they really had a hard time letting it go. And because they couldn't let it go, because they were so fixated on it, they were unable to understand or comprehend any other information until we found a way to move past it. Anchoring bias can be a real hindrance in mediation and negotiation. The lesson to be learned is that you need to keep your eyes, ears, and mind open if you want to find a path to resolution. You have to be able to identify when this is happening to you and learn to set aside your anchoring bias and listen to new information and take it in. Thanks for joining me to talk about anchoring bias and how it can impact negotiations and mediation. If you have any questions, please comment below.